last video, I showed you guys the smartphone trends which were mostly positive and just kept on being till date. But in this video, I'm going to be showing you the smartphone trends that were discontinued. And some are a little bit okay, but most are going to be really terrifying. So here are 9 smartphone trends that were actually discontinued. So roll the intro. Starting off with number 9, we have 3D. Now, not just smartphones, but in general, at least at the start of 2010 or 2011, most people thought that 3D was our future. You had 3D phones which could shoot in 3D, you had 3D TVs, all of that stuff. But the thing is that 3D did not revolutionize. Instead of 3D, what we have today is virtual reality, or VR in short. But the problem was that 3D was very expensive to make, shoot, and oftentimes it was like just a big gimmick. So 3D failed and we stopped seeing 3D stuff from like 2015, 2016, and people realized that 3D is no longer the future. So number 8 is kind of like a two-sided knife, because some people really liked it and some people did not really like it that much. So number 8 is removable back panels. Removable back panels were really easy if you wanted to just like shove the battery in or shove a SIM card in without having to like, I don't know, you need like this small pin and you have to like search for it, you might have misplaced it and all that. And I remember people saying that in the good old days you didn't have to like use this teeny tiny pin that you had to poke inside the smartphone. You would lose it and then like it would be all weird, and then when you just took it out it would all fall down, your SIM cards and like SD cards. But the advantage of having this was literally that you didn't need that pin and you didn't really care about losing it either, because like it's just your back panel. You would take it off and take it back in. But the problem was that every time when you had to like remove a back panel, it was either gonna get damaged, mostly because like you can make it out of durable stuff, and water resistance. I don't even have to say about water resistance. Water resistance does not work well with back panels, at least removable ones. So removable back panels were also discontinued. So do you guys remember Windows phones? So Windows phones were kind of like coming as the third biggest thing, right next to Android as well as Apple. And people thought that they were gonna get like a lot of choices, because like Windows has always been good as a software company, not as a hardware company. So from the software side of things, it looked awesome. It looked like we just hit the future, because like the UI and like the way you interacted with the devices. And Windows had one big plus. The big plus was that you could use it on low-end hardware as well as high-end hardware, and you would not have these like kind of bugs that you have to use with Android. And Android was one of like the only option other than Apple at that time. So people felt really refreshed, and they were making like a lot of headlines up until like 2013 or 2014. Wait a minute, not for the good news. The reason that Windows Phone existed was just to show that Microsoft also wanted a hand in the smartphone market, not because it wanted to innovate or something. So all it gave people was something to get confused on, mostly because like if Windows could actually run on low-end hardware, why isn't Microsoft building a low-end spec phone? Mostly because of the fact that Microsoft wanted big time hardware sales, and it was really hoping that Windows would actually fly off the shelves. Sadly, it did not for multiple reasons, but to cram it all up and put it on your face, apps. So Windows had a problem for apps, especially like when it cut ties with Google, and it had a problem with Facebook. Microsoft already lost, and by 2017, Windows Phone was dead. But RIP Windows Phone, and good thing that Microsoft came out of that mess, because if it still continued on the Windows Phone thingy, it would have been RIP for the whole company now. So when I said removable back panels, many of you might have harked back to when you could actually like put in SD cards into your phones. And now, it's not like it's actually dead, but the thing is that it's dying pretty much soon. And it's mostly dying because of the fact that companies want you to pay for more storage. You see, back in the day, there was like a lot of options if you wanted to buy a really high-end phone or really low-end phone. Low-end phones were generally like very versatile, mostly because like it had to offer more value, or else the company is just gonna shut down, mostly because like the customer didn't really care that much. And when it comes to offering more value and versatility, a micro SD card was a must. And even though like the high-end phones were slowly going away with it, and especially like Apple never gave support for it, it just vanished. Mostly because companies wanted you to pay more for storage. And you can take a really good example with it with the Samsung's S21 series, where the S21 and the S21 Plus do not have expandable storage, whereas the S21 Ultra have expandable storage. So keyboards. The good old days. Harking back to the good old days again, QWERTY keyboards were everywhere, at least from like 2000 to 2010. People really loved QWERTY keyboards and people wanted to like keep that like for a really long time. The satisfaction of typing on those physical keyboards, like typing up a text message, a BBM, or an email, the satisfaction level was awesome. But once again, we've got the nemesis, iPhones. So the iPhone just removed the whole keyboard and customers didn't really like it at first, mostly because like they thought this is not the future, we still like our keyboards, we're gonna keep that in. But slowly as the decade went, people knew that they were gonna have to remove their keyboards if they wanted to jump in with the next generation for the awesome coolness. So keyboards started vanishing slowly, and BlackBerry, as a big coincidence, still kept on hanging with the keyboard. And even now, till their latest 2018 Key 2 has a nice good old QWERTY. And oh no, wait, not a lot of other manufacturers really care about having keyboards. Mostly because like keyboards were just making the phone finicky, clunky, having durability issues, you can't have them waterproofed, all of that sort. So keyboards weren't really a big necessity to them. But let me tell you one thing, the older generation really missed it. So when you remember headphones, you remember, what do you remember? AirPods. You remember the iPhone 7, RIP headphone jack, all of that stuff. But even for like small scale companies just from 2014, harking back to OnePlus again, you can really see that headphones were slowly gonna vanish from the box, mostly because like companies thought that it wasn't big of a necessity. At least today, the only place where you can actually like see the headphones in a smartphone box is in France because of its rules. But the whole point is that companies started to slowly not care about the headphones, mostly because like they wanted to reduce costs as much as possible just so that they can lower down the prices and increase like the profit margins. And profit margins are really important for companies for them to stay in business. And so the headphones slowly went away from the box. And some companies even like today, they do sell headphones in the box. But the thing is that majority of the smartphones around the world have said bye-bye to the headphones. So headphones, bye-bye. So when I spoke of removable back panels, there's removable SD cards as well. But the major advantages of having removable back panels was that you could like shove in new batteries and old batteries. And the good old days, once again, that you just had to like shove in a new battery, or like if you had an extra battery, you didn't have to like juice up your phone and wait so much of time. But where did it go? So, as a concern of durability, again, and also as a matter of fact that companies didn't just want you to go out and buy a new battery. They wanted you like replace a lot and take commission from that. Obviously, they're companies. But the thing is that it also led to a durability concern where, again, you had to like put into the waterproof test and sometimes the phone might actually pass. Or might not. So the thing is that companies wanted to like increase on the scale of like waterproofing, making their phones more durable, and it should look sleek and attractive. It shouldn't just be like a toy for nerds. Where you could just open the phone and like shove in a battery and you can see all the components and all of that. So RIP removable batteries. You can't even find one in a budget phone today. So when I say the word courage, what comes to your mind?
Courage, 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 courage.
That's what comes to your mind. So the headphone jack. I know like a lot of people have talked about why the headphone jack was removed, who removed it, and when. But let me just crumb it up for you. The headphone jack was removed by Apple. Why? Why Apple wanted to remove the headphone jack? It was for like a lot of reasons, as Apple said. No, it's not about courage, it's just the fact that you wanted to sell AirPods. So the thing was that Apple didn't really like where the industry was going with the headphone jacks, so it removed it as in to pose threats for wired headphones and introduced a pair of its own wireless headphones, AirPods, 30 minutes after the introduction of RMB headphone jack. So the word courage isn't really that good to use here. It's just the fact that we like more money by our AirPods. So RMB headphone jack, there are still many people who miss you, but the majority has already flung to wireless headphones and simply don't care. So, number 1, guess who it is? So number 1 is the legend, the newbie on the road. It's the removal of the charger. And yes, chargers are removed from phones nowadays. Except that it's not that streamlined as you think and that effective as you think. And guess who did it already? Apple was the first person to actually introduce on removing chargers to save the environment. And if you guys want to know why companies remove the chargers and how they can actually save the environment without, I'll link up for a video over here that you can actually go and watch. Nonetheless, in that video I might have like clearly explained that it's not for an eco-conscious purpose, but rather like cost cutting, and also the fact that Apple wanted to shell out some MagSafe accessories and all of that. And also the fact that you had to pay more, obviously, why else? So thank you guys for watching this video. I think you might have known like why companies actually discontinued these trends and which trends were actually discontinued. And if you like this video, go give it a like and comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, this is yours truly, Shreyas Khalil.